Okay, the top 5 military rifles of 1875. Here's a copy of what I found. According to the German Borsen Zeltlug, whatever, I don't know. In 1875, the Bowmer was amongst the 5 best military rifles in Europe at the time, next to the Mauser, Werder, which I don't have one of them, Russian Baradin, the Grana. A choice of 26 different type of breech loads at the time used by various European armies. Well, here we go. I have 4 of the 5, more or less. He was talking about a Beaumont 1870, not an 1870-88, which I have here. But we will take a look at what we have. Being a German, of course, he was the German and Bavarian guns. Here is our Mauser 1871 rifle. Pretty rugged, reliable gun. Okay, and the Germans' answer to the repeater was put in a tube magazine, and the 1871/84 is what the Germans did to answer the repeater problem. And here we go. This is still a single shot. Okay, and interestingly enough, this particular gun has the markings. It went to South America, and that writing on top there, or this here, this is what it is, the EN. I forget which country, Brazil or whatever. So basically a classic. All right. So that's our Mauser. Now I'm going to do something a little different for the Werder, I believe it is. I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to put 3 different photographs I have, kind of stretch them out as a special effect. And there's the gun, the full-length gun. There will be a close-up of the receiver and a drawing of the internal mechanism. So that's how we'll look at that gun. Well, hopefully gives you an idea of what they're talking about. Next up is the French Grana rifle. Okay. Again, single shot, bolt action, pretty rugged, reliable. The French were the first to adopt smokeless powder. So these guns, once they started getting the Lebel in service, they started selling off these guns as surplus, and they ended up traveling everywhere. They were used during the Russian Revolution in the 1920s and that, teens, right after World War I. They were used in the Spanish Civil War. They were sent there. So these guns traveled around quite a bit, and a lot of them ended up in Afghanistan and the Middle East. So the Grana rifle, pretty universal. They'll pop up being used after being used by the French, okay, in many different countries. Again, another outstanding weapon of the time. And then next we go to the Russian Verdun rifle, which I just recently did some experimentation on shooting this. Now, a lot of people say this is one of the most accurate guns of the time, okay? The reason they're quite rare is after the Russian Revolution, all the other countries kind of boycotted the new Soviet Union, and they ran out of steel and materials. So the Soviets took millions of these guns and scrapped them, melted them down. I guess because they needed the metal to make 91 Mosin Nagants. So they're hard to find, and the only ones that survived and you find now are ones that were outside of the country, much like the Royal Tiger Ethiopian ones. And I believe this one here was either in Finland or Estonia or something like that. And they found these later in the 50s in warehouses, and that's how they got to the United States. They are a very difficult gun to find. And yes, I don't know about the Werder, but these three guns here are designed to use a paper patch bullet. So when you try to shoot these, that's what I've been working on with the Baradin. You have to use a paper patch bullet. The chambers are cut for an undersized lead bullet with a paper jacket, basically is what it is. Okay, like the Mauser, if you try to get something that'll hit the groove diameter with the Mauser, when you put it in the case, it will not chamber. Okay, you got to use an undersized bullet. I've tried to use a heeled bullet, where inside the case diameter is smaller, outside the bullet is bigger, and both with the Grana and the Mauser, I've gotten halfway decent results with the Mauser. The Grana kind of, so-so. The Mauser wasn't bad, but it's problematic. And they don't make a bullet like that to go in the Baradin. So these three rifles are something I believe in the future I will try to make a paper patch bullet, basically a smokeless powder load, and get these to shoot fairly accurately. And that's about the only way you can do it. But I'm trying to learn paper patching and all that other fun stuff. Then we go to the Dutch Bowmer. And like I said, they're talking about the model 1870, not this 1870-88. So what you would have to do is just picture the gun without the Vitali magazine in its original single-shot version, which did use a different type of cartridge. The earlier cartridge had a larger bullet, actually, and was a little bit different. And there's some confusion on that because it's like the new cartridge would fire in both guns, but the old cartridge wouldn't operate in this gun. So I don't know if these are rebarreled or what the deal was when they did the conversion, reworked them. But there you go, guys. A little bit of fun, the top 5. And like I said, just look at it like that without the magazine and imagine. I'm trying to get a single shot version, and if I ever do get one that's decent and doesn't cost a huge sum of money, I may have one to do a side-by-side comparison. So, a little fun, some interesting facts, but there we go. The top 5 military rifles of 1875.